The me chat here for nyina nipa do no hwe me. Ene nipa do no antima hwe me. Me Chief Naa Zali me kasa ade amatie for nyina ewe wiase nyina. I greet everybody on this earth, the living beings that Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created on this earth. And I greet our Muslim brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And I greet we spiritualists and every spiritual man on this earth who comes on this planet to do good, to favor we human beings on this earth. I said the spiritual aspect of life. And I greet the members of the Zurich Brotherhood across my forehead and across my chest for all the faith and all the belief that we have in whatever God has created on this earth. There are so many things that was brought into my notice on this earth based on we human being on this earth. And today I came out to speak more or to enlighten more about it. That we human beings, we have our cultures and tradition. Ye nipa de no mo we wiase we, me che obi ade no tena se wiase we nyina se ye nipa bia de na we wiase we ye wo sum de na ye sum e wo nyame e wo sumi de na sum ade ama ye tumi. Ye nipa de na wo ties e wiase we no, we shouldn't be deceived by our fellow human beings. Every culture, every tradition has its own culture and tradition. Every language has its own culture and tradition. When you go to South Sudan, they have their culture and tradition. When you go to Mecca, they have their culture and tradition. When you go to Christianity, they have their culture and tradition. When you go to Islam, they have their culture and tradition. We human beings on this planet, please, I urge everybody on this earth that every human being has a culture and tradition on his tribe or any language that God has placed him to. Before you are created on this earth, God knows that the language that you are going to speak is Hausa, is Ewe, is Gan, is Dagomba, is Twi. Everybody and God, the language that God will place on the top of him before he is going to be created. You can be created. Instead of you be in Hausa, he create you and you be in Twi. If you found yourself as a Muslim, you give glory and thanks to God. If you found yourself in Christianity, you give glory and thanks to God. Because he's the creator. He wants the sign that you will be before you will be. If he wants you to be a Christian, you will become a Christian. If he wants you to become a Muslim, you will become a Muslim. If he wants you to become a spiritualist, you will become a spiritualist. So why will you argue with God? And God says that in the books of Quran, in the books of Bible, let me say in the books of Quran, in Laylatul Mahfuz, that before you are going to be created, you will bargain with God. God, I want to become a Muslim. When I get up, this is what I want to do. And God will say, is that what you want? You say, yes. He will write and sign and document it into your books and give it to you in your right hand and you receive it. So that means that when you get up and you become a Christian, that means you have violated the agreement between you and God. God will ask you, why do you tell me that you want to become a Muslim? And I made you as a Muslim. By the end of the day, you become a Christian. Why? And you tell God, this is what I bargained with you, but this was the reason. I was convinced by my husband, or I was convinced by my wife to become a Christian or to become a Muslim. What is the reason of your convincing? He told me that when I follow this route, I will get Jannah. That is, and I want Jannah for myself. That's the reason why I was convinced by him, by my husband or by my wife, before I became a Muslim or a Christian. Every custom and tradition based on every language that God has created on this earth. Can you count all the language that is on this earth? No. You can be speaking Hausa and somebody doesn't understand Hausa. You can be speaking Dagomba and nobody understands you. You can be speaking Ewe and nobody understands Ewe. But God understands the language that you are speaking. Every language has a tradition and custom. Please, we shouldn't be deceived on this earth. Before our great-grandparents were alive, before they would drop alcohol on the earth, they would tell Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the universe, the creator of mankind, the creator of every being on this earth, the creator of trees, we give this alcohol to you for you to accept our sacrifice and grant us our wish. If God says, amen, I grant you that wish, your wish will be granted. If God says, I will not grant you that wish that you seek from me, you will not get it. So why do you argue with God? Ever have their language of summoning God? Twi have their language of summoning God. Hausa have their way of summoning God. The Gombes have their way of summoning God. Is it the same? Is the language the same? But God understands every language that gets to him. My brothers in Islam and tradition in Christianity, we shouldn't be deceived. Your culture was given to you by your great-grandfathers. You didn't come from a tree. It's not a tree who gave birth to you. You didn't just get up and you are a human being on this earth. You follow a lineage. Somebody gave birth to your grandfather. Your grandfather gave birth to your father. Somebody gave birth to your father before it gave birth to you. You also give birth to somebody, and somebody also give birth to somebody before it will now be a lineage. In this all, we are in lineage. Before when you get out to pour alcohol, you mention your father's name. Your father collect it and go and give his father. He will also go and give it to his father. He will also go and give it to his father. The names that you can only remember is what you mention. And what are the names you can mention? At the end of the day, what do you say? The one I'm dropping, they know their fathers and they know their mothers. They should give it to them. Do you know their names? No. Today, I, Chief Naa Zali, I came to highlight so many things on this planet that people say that when you exhibit your culture and tradition, it makes you maybe a devilish person, or it makes you that you don't get Jannah. And Jannah belongs to God. That is heaven. Nobody human being on this earth can boast that I, Chief Naa Zali, I will go to heaven. I can't boast myself. God says that you will do your part on this earth and leave it for the remaining I, God, for me to judge for you. You already see, ye nipa de na we as way. Want to mean say na me sum nyame no. Me beti man heaven, there be. And ye wo sum nyame de na wo sum no, eni na be ma heaven, there be. Due to the faith that you have in your heart, due to the language that you have with God, it is only that one that can give you heaven or hell. Everybody has custom and tradition. Customs, traditions. Don't let somebody deceive you because of your culture. Mami manipa on deceive you say culture then enye. Even Nipa de no Mecca, they have their culture. Nipa de no Mecca, Hajj. Culture. They have their culture. Those who are in Mecca, they have their culture. Do they underestimate their culture? No. Why will you sit and underestimate that the knowledge God has given to you, that I should underestimate my culture? I should forget my grandfather, and God says that we human beings, if you die, you didn't die for all. Yes, you will still live on earth until the day that I will summon every human being on this earth. And I'm telling you that the Volta regime people, they have their way of summoning God. Yes. And their way of summoning God, they appease God. They cry to God. They say so many languages to God for God intervention in whatever they are going to do. So does it mean that our great-grandfather doesn't know God before God was created? Before the earth was created? No. They knew God before Islam and Christianity came. They knew that somebody created them before Christianity and Islam came. I, Chief Naa Zali, I always stand here to say that in terms of spiritual aspect, we are doctors. In terms of traditional aspect, in terms of Christianity aspect, we are doctors. In terms of Islamic aspect, we are doctors. There is nothing that you bring to us and we can't give you a feedback of it. There is no inner knowledge that you want to bring across to Chief Naa Zali and he can't give you an answer to it. Everything has an antidote. Today, let's come back to reality. People are dying like fowls. People are dying like animals. The sickness that is not supposed to kill human beings, it is killing human beings now. Somebody can tell I'm experiencing headache. At the end of the day, he dies. Somebody tell my stomach is paining me. At the end of the day, he dies. Do you ask yourself a question? Why is this thing happen? Because our great-grandfathers, they was not experiencing this. Our great-grandparents were lasting for 200 years, 300 years. But today, why? At the age of 45, 55, 90, approximately 95, the person is gone. When you even see the person's skin, you even see him and start running. Because of what? Because of selfishness and greed. Selfishness and greed is a sickness. But you never know that selfishness and greed is a sickness. They don't know him say selfishness and greed. Because if God grants somebody mansion or big cars and you envy it, it will become a sickness to you. And when it becomes a sickness, and God will tell you that I will not stop there, I will give you a plane. And when the person buys a plane, that means your sickness will increase. And if the sickness increases, where will it lead you? It will lead you to your grave. I urge every human being on this earth, before you see a human being become a successful being, I, Chief Naa Zali, say that search for that road. Look for it. Cry to God, and God will show you that path. And whatever you want, you will get it. Somebody will come to Chief Naa Zali. Chief Naa Zali, I have so many problems. I say, you don't have so many problems. Your problem is envy and jealous. Kill that spirit in you, and whatever you want, you will get it. I urge everybody, human being, that every language has its culture and tradition. We shouldn't underestimate it. In our local language, maybe people used to have a family who get up and they are barren, they are not giving birth. They go to a spiritualist and tell the spiritualist that I want to buy a child from this spirit. I want the spirit to bless me from this family so that my lineage, what I've suffered for, it will not leave, it will continue. And the spirit will grant the person that wish. And you will get up and say that you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, and you are fighting that spirit. My brother, the time that God has given to you, you will not reach that stage. Why will you leave that stage? Because God followed a different path in bringing you in this world. God creates your mother or your father that they shouldn't give birth. They should be barren and die like that. And your father went to an extent to speak to spirit. The spirit should give them a child. And the spirit gave them a child. And the spirit, when the spirit gives them the child, can you boast that the child is a devil spirit? Or can you say that the child is a stupid being? He's a human being like you. So if the child get up and say that the road that their father follow, or the road that their father and the mother follow, in bringing him in this world, is a negative being, that means that he has already documented his negativity on this earth. That means that success will never pursue him. Long life will never pursue him. Because it was written in their books that they will get married and they will never give birth. But they took a different step in crying to God in terms of spiritual aspect. And God says that means that the agreement I have with these people, they have cried so much. And the path that they have followed, I will grant them their wish. And I grant them. And today you get up and say you are a pastor, you are a malam, and you tell that your father and your mother are devil worshippers. Do you know how you are in this world? Do you know the things that they have sacrificed before you become a being into this world? Do you know the cars that you are driving Do you know how they suffered before they get it? And today you are driving that car and you tell your mother that who is dead or your father who is dead that they will go to hell because they are devil worshippers, because they were not going to church, because they were not praying. Do you know the road that they followed before you came into this world? No, my brother. We shouldn't be deceived. We shouldn't be deceived, my fellow human beings on this planet. When you get up and your father said that this was who I am before I gave birth to you, never discriminate it. God says that your father and your mother are the next king to I, God. Apart from God, who is the king again into your life is your father and your mother. And in the Bible, God says, honor your father and your mother. And Quran says that your father and your mother is your source of Jannah. That's what Muslims will say. That if you underestimate your father and your mother, hellfire is your portion. But if you grant them what God has given to them, before you become a human being, to become a knowledgeable being, the road that you have followed, your father have followed that road before you follow it. The church that you have attended, your father have attended that church and his head is aching him before you started attending that church. Before you stand in front of God, your father has stand in front of God before you. Before your father was here, before you were created. Who created you? It's your father and your mother. Sometimes one will sit and say that God created us. It's true, God created us. Do you know the reason we say God created us? God created our forefathers before it becomes a lineage to ourselves today. But if God is going to create you, He will not create you, you just fall from heaven. How? Even when you are going to fall from heaven into this earth, you will die. But it is through two people, a male being and a female being. It's through them you become a human being. And today you start to become a pastor. You start to become a spiritualist. You start to become a malam. And you will get up and say that your father and your mother were devil worshippers. You will not practice that rule. You are an idiot. You don't wish to go to heaven. You deserve hellfire. You don't deserve it. You deserve hellfire. So you want to tell me that your father and your mother doesn't deserve heaven. You, the one they have created on this earth, you deserve heaven. Today I give birth to my children for all the suffering that I've suffered, all the spirit I hold. And my children get up and tell me that my father will go to hellfire because he's a Muslim or because he's a Christian. Who born dog? I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Muslim before you were created. I'm a Christian before you were created. I'm a spiritualist before you created. I took your mother and gave birth to you. That if I didn't marry your mother, would I give birth to you? That if I decided the spiritual aspect of life is not good, I would have married your mother before giving birth to you. I'm a spiritualist. What will I use to feed you before you become a human being? The time your mother gave birth to you, you were lying down, didn't know your whereabouts. Do you know that the battle I fought before you become a human being? Before you start crawling? Do you know the battle that I fought before you get up and stand? Do you know the battle that I fight before you become 1 year old? Do you know the battle that I fight before you become 15 years? Do you know the battle that I fight before you become a malam? Do you know the battle I fought before you become a pastor? Even if I don't pray, even if I don't do anything, but the fight that I fought for you to become successful, God will give me Jannah. Yes. That means I've given my life in the place of yours. People kill themselves because of their children. People sacrifice themselves because of their children to become who they are today. So if I sacrifice myself today and give my son or my daughter, and my daughter will get up tomorrow and tell me that he's a Muslim, he deserves Jannah, and I deserve hellfire. I'm telling you, even he will see the road of heaven, and he can never point it. He will see heaven, the gate of heaven open, but he can't even see the gate to enter. Do you know the time your mother and your father gave birth? Do you know the day we gave birth to you and you were lying down? Do you know the problem that came to you? Do you know the problem that I fought before you became human being? And you will get up and tell me that what I was practicing was wrong. What you are practicing today is good. And you want to enjoy what you are practicing. You can never get it. Every human being has a culture. Before your culture is due, every household has a culture. My household has a culture. His household has his culture. His also household has his own culture. If I discriminate my culture to somebody's culture, thinking that it will be good for me, it will never be good for me. Christianity was brought by somebody. That was Jesus. It was descended by God. The culture is different. The culture my grandfathers was using to be alive before Jesus came is also there. I can't say that who created that thing is God. Who created that my grandfathers? Were they falling from trees? No. They follow two human beings. A male being and a female being. Like the way I also came out from my fathers and my mother. So why would I say that what my grandfathers was practicing was wrong? Did God give you gender whilst you are still alive? No. Did God give you hellfire? No. We shouldn't be deceived, my brothers. Please. When you call Chief Naa Zali, I speak much and I highlight so much on this aspect of life. Before you become a successful being, it might be that your father suffered before you became a successful being. Like today, I slaughter sacrifice. I slaughter animals for my children. I do things extremely for my children. And I say that how I have suffered, I don't wish that my children should suffer. Why do I say that? For them to become a successful being. Before you go to Europe to go and suffer, to hustle, to make money, you will never wish your daughter or your son to also go there and suffer. You want them to have a comfortable life and remember you what you have suffered for. That is the reason why we are suffering today. You want your children to be better than you. You want your daughters to be better than you. That's the reason why we are suffering. I don't want my son to become equal one day. I want them to overtake me. Every language has its own tradition and custom. Please. Whatever I've suffered today, I'm telling you, if my children get up tomorrow and discriminate what I've suffered for them, they will suffer, not me. I'm telling you. I'll be in Jannah. I can hit myself, I'll go to Jannah. I'm not going to wait for my children to come and tell me I'll go to Jannah. Never. I'm not going to wait. My daughter will come and tell me I'll go to Jannah. I myself know I'll go to Jannah. Because before they were created, before I and my wife gave birth to them, I'm the one who is now taking care of their health. Through God. I'm now going to spiritualists. Give me help to bath them for them to succeed. I'm the one who is going to bath them for them to stand on their feet and their legs to become strong and to start to walk. I'm the one who is going to prepare them for them to know fear and them to know they don't even know what is fear. I'm the one who is going to prepare it for them. And tomorrow they become successful beings. And they will tell me that I, their father, who don't deserve Jannah, they deserve Jannah. You will see the gate of Jannah, you can go to Jannah. The reason why today we are dying early is because we leave our customs and tradition. Do you know the reason why? There's only one language. Let's leave it to God. There are some certain things, it's not God who is going to leave it. It's we human beings who leave it and say that it's God. No. Before you take something that doesn't belong to you, God will get angry in heaven. He's waiting for human beings. I didn't give you the knowledge of animals. I give you the knowledge of human beings. Fight for me. That's what God will say. I gave you that wisdom. Fight for me. And you don't fight for God. And you sit there and say, let's leave it to God. But you farm 5 acres of land and they'll push cattle inside the farm and they'll be chopping them. You say, oh, you have killed me. I'll beat and kill you today. You have made cattle chop my food. Forget it. You say, why don't you leave it to God? Because you know the kettles have chopped your rice, they have chopped your maize. But that one is not up to God. But if somebody is dead, they'll say, let's leave it to God. Because the life belongs to God. But you, the owner of the life that you are holding, it doesn't belong to God. The one that you're also holding belongs to God. If a car knock your fellow brother and you sit and say, oh, he's a stupid man, that is good. Tomorrow is Amonka. You know Amonka? The soldier one, the one that have the big one, that one will step, that one will knock and kill you and step on you and even get spoiled. I urge every human being who seek for help in spiritual aspect, in terms of knowledge aspect, call Chief Naa Zali on his number 054-0222-442 or 050-78-50050. That is only the two numbers I use. When they say spiritual aspect, we are doctors in spiritual aspect. We are knowledgeable in spiritual aspect. We give spirit for people to become human beings. We give knowledge for people to become human beings on this earth. God can give you riches, but you don't have the knowledge to hold the riches. People come to me, Chief Naa Zali, I have the riches, all right. But the knowledge to sustain that riches is not there. I give you the riches in the name of God, in the name of the Spirit. Yes, somebody can have money, but the knowledge that is going to use to hold the money is not there. But if God gives you the secret, I'm telling you, human beings, we are of different species on this earth. We can never be the same. I urge every human being that Christianity is different. Muslim is different. Our tradition and custom that we hold is different, my brother. They are on the same path. We shouldn't underestimate ourselves, please. Traditionalists, Christianity, Islamic, they are on the same path. Who do we cry to? We cry to Almighty Allah. We cry to the Suprema, the creator of the universe and earth. He's the one that we all crave for. The road that you are passing to become successful, people have passed that road and they didn't get it. So if you are passing the road and you are getting it, that means there is God who wants you to get it. That's the reason why you are getting it. The problems that we face today intercede each other in traditional aspect, in Islamic aspect, in Christianity aspect. Somebody can come to you as a spiritualist, and the work that you do will enhance with the help of a spiritualist or a Christianity for it to be complete. You can do the work in a spiritual aspect and it needs a Muslim man who will intervene and the work will be completed. Today, all that work intercede each other. So why will you tell that a spiritual man will go to hellfire? That means if the spiritual man is going to hellfire, that means that the Muslim man also go and the Christian man also. That means who will go to heaven? That means there is no human being who will go to heaven. Today, I urge every human being on this earth that all your spiritual problems that you bring to me, when it being solved, it is not only I, Chief Naa Zali, who solve it. I can go behind you and invite a Malam to intervene. I can go behind you and intervene a Christian man to intervene so that the problem will be solved. There are some problems that the one road can solve it unless you bring the two hands together before it can solve it. So I urge every human being on this earth that before you will take a bold step to any spiritual man or a pastor or a Muslim Malam, you have to open your mindset with the truth and place you yourself to the person with the truth nature of you, the human being. And whatever you want, you will surely get it. I'm a spiritualist. It's not everything that I can solve on this earth. When you call me and I know that I can't solve your problem, I'll tell you that I can't solve it. People call me and I ask them to give me their names and they give me and I look at it and I tell them that it's not a spiritual aspect. They should seek for help from a Malam or they should seek help from a pastor. If I want to oppose it for myself because of what I want to collect and eat, tomorrow, if the person suffer the outcome of it, I will bear the responsibility. So it's not every spiritualist who can solve a problem. Somebody can just list a problem on this earth, on YouTube page or in social media. You will look at all the problems that he has summoned. I'm telling you, none of it even he can't even solve. I'm a spiritualist. I can solve your marital problem. I can solve your what? I can solve your plenty issue. Are you God? So if you can solve all that problem, what about God? No. God has given you your part, and give somebody his also part, and give somebody his part. You can't combine so many things and say that you can do everything. No. Everybody on this earth has his part. If you call I Chief Naa Zali, what I can do, I'll tell you I can do. What I can do, I'll tell you I can do it. Because I'm not going to sit on this earth forever. I also want to go back to my creator, who created my grandfathers up to the time that I was created. I'll go back to the one who created them before me. That is the reason why when Paul Abeshin, we mention names up to the stage that we can stop and God will take control. That means that when you die, my children also take the step and add me to their ancestors. My children, their also children will add me to their ancestors. That is how the lineage will end. It doesn't mean that when you are there, you are gone forever. You are not gone forever. Your spirit still lives on earth. We cry to that spirit because you are the one who brought it on this earth. We cry to that spirit, and whatever we want, we get it. Pick my number on the screen and call me Chief Naa Zali. If you call me on a video call and it's not me, leave the person, that is not me. Go and listen to my own voice. The numbers that I mentioned, that is 054 0222 442 or 050 78 50050. That is the only number I use on YouTube page. The reason why we come out on this earth to help people, God says that if I give you knowledge, I didn't give you because of only your children or your family. I give it to you because of everybody. Use it and help, and you shall gain whatever I give to you in your domain in heaven. That means that if God gives you knowledge and you sit idle with the knowledge that he has given to you, don't think that he'll be happy with you. He'll be angry with you because I didn't give you that knowledge because of only you. I give that knowledge because of everybody on this earth. For them to identify you, for them to get whatever I have given to you, for you to share it, and one day your name will remain on this earth forever. Our Jesus is gone, but we remember their good work that they have done. Prophet Muhammad is gone. We remember their good work have done. We have our people that they were on this earth, and today we believe them and we worship them. How do we worship them? We believe on whatever they have prayed to God and what the knowledge that God has given to them. Show Ibrahim Manyas is there. Show Meikono is there. Today we worship them. How do we worship them? We don't say that they are God. We worship them because of the knowledge that God gave to them, the impact that they made on life. That is the reason why that we say we worship them. We have most of our Sunnah aspect. We have so many people in the aspect of life, in Muslim, in everything. We have them. We have so many people that exhibit good work in terms of God aspect of life. Those who enhance God work. They are countless in tradition aspect in terms of Christianity. We have so many people. TV Joshua, many people, they are there. Those who are enhancing the good work of God. And today, can you say that they are hellfire? No. The good nature of work that they have exhibited. You can't sit and say that they are in hellfire. Today, they are marching the houses that they have built, the churches that they have erected. Still, the church has not died. There are still people who are worshiping. And can you count the number of people who go there to worship? Can you count them? When you build masalachi, when you build mosques and die, can you count the people who are still going to that masalachi to go and worship? So when will your name die? They will say that, oh, this man, he's the creator, he's the one who built this masalachi. Let's recite Fatiha for him. Let's say the holy prayers to him. And you think that the name that you are mentioning doesn't get to him? It will get to him. He's the owner of this masalachi. And we are doing Fatiha for him. He's the owner of the masalachi. Because can you count the number of people who go to that mosque to go and pray? Can you count the number of people who go to that church to go and pray? So can you testify that you go to hellfire? No. We shouldn't be discriminated by our own image. We shouldn't be forgiven. We shouldn't be tormented by our own spirit. Please, I urge every human being on this earth that we have cultures and tradition. What makes a religion is culture and tradition. That makes a religion. Culture and tradition makes up a religion. Our culture and tradition made up to become a Muslim. Our culture and tradition made up to become a Christianity. That means you are carrying two roads and you leave another road and pick another road. You think you get your road easy? No. But if you are following two roads, if this one misleads, you jump to this one. If this one goes, you jump to this one. That's how it is. Please, I urge every human being. We are all on this earth. And we are not going to remember. We are not going to remain on this earth. We will die. And when you die, where do you want to go? You want to go to two places. That is heaven and hellfire. And who want to go to hellfire? Nobody on this earth want to go to hellfire. We all want to go to Jannah. I urge every human being on this earth, I Chief Naa Zali, that I myself, I urge that today when I die, I'll go to Jannah. And every human being also want to go to Jannah. When you are a spiritualist, do good in aspect of your work and you get Jannah. If you are Islam, if you are a Malam, do good and go to Jannah. If you are a Christian, do good and go to Jannah. You can use your Bible and kill. You can use your Quran and kill. You can use your tradition aspect and kill. But God says that I forbid you for you to take something that doesn't belong to you. What I have created, don't kill it. You can use your Bible and kill human being. You can use your Bible and your Quran and kill human being. But when it's killed, they'll say it's spiritualist. The Bible is the responsible of his killing, not the Quran, not the traditionalist. The Quran is responsible of his killing, not the spiritualist. So most time we mislead each other because they know that when they go to the Islamic aspect of life, they will find the source of the killer. They will say there's a traditionalist. But when they go there, they will never find the owner of the killer. But if they combine these three things, they will find the killer and remove him in the society. That is where our nature, we have people where we normally drop witches. They say he's a witch. He's a witch. The witch doesn't tell you that he's only using spiritual aspect to kill. He can use a spirit aspect of Islamic and kill. He can use a Christian aspect to kill. By the end of the day, we'll take him to a witch crown. But he's becoming a witch. How do you take something that doesn't belong to you? It belongs to God, doesn't belong to you. So at the end of the day, we tell you that you are a witch because you have taken something that doesn't belong to you. Every problem that you have, you call Chief Naa Zali. Chief Naa Zali is the number one spiritualist on this earth who will tell you the best thing that you do and get whatever you want. Even if I can't get it, and for me to go to heaven and go to God and cry to God and God will give me. For me to come and solve a problem, I will do that. What I can do, I'll tell you I can do it. What I can do, I'll tell you I can do. But we should always know that every work in aspect of life has a thanksgiving. Whether you are a spiritual aspect and you go and do work at that spiritual aspect, it has a thanksgiving. When you go to a Christian aspect, it has a thanksgiving. When you go to a Muslim aspect, it has a thanksgiving. The thanksgiving doesn't go to the one who did the work. It goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason why we have the thanksgiving is because it is an appreciation given to the Spirit and to God. That means that what they have done to you, you have really appreciated. That means hereafter, you have a saying to it. What is your source of income? I came to Chief Naa Zali. He slaughtered 5 cows for me to become successful. And what was the result out of it? I was successful. I went back and give them 10 cows for the Thanksgiving. That is your saying. That is your language. Your language is what? You have a saying to it. That is the Thanksgiving. But people comes and get what they want at the end of the day. They turn back on top of the Spirit. And the Spirit will curse them. At the end of the day, they see the Spirit is evil. People go to a spiritualist, people go to Malams, and Malams will recite Quran, and they'll become a successful being. At the end of the day, they turn their back on the Malam. It's not the Malam. You have turned your back on the Quran, not the Malam. Where did the recitation came from? From the Quran. That means that you didn't turn your back on the Malam. You turned your back on the Quran. That means that you told the Quran that he was a deceiver. But it was through the Quran that you become a successful being. You go to a pastor, and pastor will recite a version in the Bible for your own good. After you become a successful being, you turn your back on the pastor thinking that you are turning your back on the pastor. You are not turning your back on the pastor. You are turning your back on the Bible. Because where was the version came from? From the Bible. Where did the pastor recite the version? From the Bible. That means that if you turn your back on the Bible, what you will get will not be good. If something helps you to become something on this earth, and you turn your back, let's take we human beings. If I do good for you, and you turn your back on me, will I be happy with you? Never. If you turn your back on Bible, the Bible who made you to become successful, the Bible will never be appeased with you. If you turn your back on Quran, Quran will never be appeased with you. If you turn your back on behind on the Spirit will never be appeased on you. My brothers and sisters, in every religion that you find yourself, don't go and stand in front of God and tell God that, God, if I become a successful being, I will build a church for you, I will build a mosque for you, and I will build an orphanage for you. Once you are saying, God is writing down. The moment God bless you, whatever you said, and you don't overdo it, you don't overcome it, do you think God will be happy for you? You tell God that you build church, you build masalachi, you build orphanage, and God give you that money. And you tell God that I want to buy Mercedes Benz. You are fucking big woman. You fuck ashawo, you'll be there spending money. And you think that God will appease with you. God will never be appeased with you. So sometimes our instinct is what is deceiving us. Please call Chief Naa Zali, and your aspect of life, in terms of spiritual aspect, in terms of everything, will be granted to you. Today, I just came out to let people to know that every tradition or every language has its own custom and traditions. We can never abandon our customs and tradition. What made up to become a religion is through custom and tradition that make up to become a religion. Before a religion is going to be created, it's through custom and tradition that combines before it becomes a religion. Before our Muslims become a Muslim, it was custom and tradition that we practiced before it became a being as an aspect of we Muslims. In terms of Christianity, the same thing happens to that. So I urge every human being that if you have your language of aspect of life, it has a tradition and customs. If you go to your own family, your family is the jurisdiction that you came from. They also have their custom and tradition. You can never abide that custom and tradition and pick your own road. Your father followed the same road. His father followed the same road. His also father followed the same road. His also father followed the same road. Up to the time of Adam. You can't stand today and discriminate what your father was doing. You can't stand today and discriminate what your grandfather was doing. They were doing it because of you today. They were doing it because of I and you today. The house that you are living today, your father didn't live the same house. Your grandfather didn't live the same house that you are living. The cars that you are driving today, your father didn't drive the same car. Your grandfather didn't drive the same car. His also father didn't drive it, but today you are driving the same car. Your father was a malam. He was not driving. He was not riding, but today you are driving. You are riding. You are having plenty wives. We shouldn't be discriminate. We shouldn't be try to judge on this earth. Heaven and hellfire belongs to God. Human being doesn't own it. It's only God who owns it. Before you become a successful being, God says that the road that you follow to become successful, I want it and you follow the road. If I don't give you that knowledge, you will never follow it. People are there suffering in the road that you have followed and they also want to follow, but they can't follow because they are not given the privilege from God. Before the road that you follow to become successful, it's a privilege that is given to you from God. If God didn't give you that privilege, you can never. Even somebody come and tell you, my brother, you are sick. Go to Chief Naa Zali, he can heal you. And tell them, I will not go, Chief Naa Zali can heal me. Because you are not destined to be healed by Chief Naa Zali. So you can never get healed. Before you become a successful being, somebody tell you, oh my brother, go to Chief Naa Zali, your problem will solve. You say, I will not go to Chief Naa Zali. Because that is not the road God says you follow. You will just be like that and die like that. Even when you struggle to get $100 to come to Chief Naa, God will tell you, my brother, you will not get the $100. Even when you get the $100, God will tell you, spend it, you spend. You go, Chief Naa Zali, I tried this year, but it didn't work. Next year I'll try. Next year you try, it will not work. God says that you are not destined to follow that road. That is the reason why you are not following that road. I urge every human being on this planet that every problem that you face, call Chief Naa Zali. I have so many enemies on YouTube. People who pick my number and they pretend that I'm Chief Naa Zali. People who are pretending to destroy my reputation that they are Chief Naa Zali. At the end of the day, when you call them on a video call, they'll tell you they'll not pick. If you don't believe me, my boy is Chief Naa Zali. And can we see two Chief Naa Zali on this earth? We only want Chief Naa Zali. We only want one person who is Chief Naa Zali. So call Chief Naa Zali and all your problems will be solved. Call Chief Naa Zali and all what you seek for yourself on this earth. God has given us that knowledge. God has given us that power. You say, I, God, I own long life. I own riches. I own power. I give it to you. I, my fellow human beings who live on this earth, for them to exhibit on this earth so that whatever my human beings want, whatever my creators want, they will surely get it from I, God. That is, we human beings, we are God. That means there's a reason why God said, don't take something that I have created, and whatever you want, you will surely get it. Pick my number on the screen and call I, Chief Naa Zali, and all your problems will be solved. The number is 054 0222 442 or 050 78 50050. If you call my number, I will sit and laugh, and my spirit will tell me the reason why you are calling me, and all your problems will be solved. If I can't solve it, I'll tell you I can't solve it. If I can solve it, I'll tell you I can solve it. In this world, one will sit, every human being has his president. We urge every blessing to our president, Akufo-Addo. He's the one who is now taking care of us, our health, our good, everything that we need. On this Ghana, that the neck that God has given to him, God should strengthen the neck for him so that he can carry us on this earth. The knowledge that God is going to give it to him so that he can handle we human beings on this Ghana, God should give him that knowledge. The knowledge that he's going to follow and mislead us, God should never give him that knowledge. The knowledge that he's going to get and lead us to the right path, God should give him that knowledge. We urge him that God should give him long life and prosperity so that the years that God has given to him, for him to take good care of us, he will reach that stage. I urge every human being on this planet, I give you long life and prosperity, long life with good health, long life with prosperity, with good businesses, with achievement, with long life. The road that you follow and God will bless you. God should grant us that wishes. And Jannat al-Firdaus will become ours. I salute every human being on this earth. I urge everybody the sign of the Brotherhood across my forehead and across my chest into the Zurich Brotherhood. I wish you people the best of luck.